My first motorcycle was Bajaj Pulsar 150. I loved it and I used to ride it all over the place. Today I have a car and a different motorcycle as well, but I still have my old Bajaj Pulsar 150 and I still love it. Hello folks, my name is Neil and today we are going to talk about the company that makes my favorite motorcycle, Bajaj Auto. Let's get on with it then. Quickly go to screener.in, search for Bajaj Auto. Now, Bajaj Auto, the flagship company of Bajaj Group, is a two-wheeler and a three-wheeler manufacturing company that exports to 70 plus countries across Latin America. Important thing is it has acquired 48% of the KTM brand, which manufactures sports and super sports two-wheelers, which is 14%. The stake was 14% in 2007. The company is based out of Pune. I used to live in Pune when I bought my Bajaj Pulsar. Pros and cons provided by or defined by screener.in. Company is almost debt free, which is an excellent thing usually. And the company has been maintaining a healthy dividend of payout of about 61.76%. The company has delivered a poor sales growth of 4.21%, and we'll look at that in a bit. And the debtor days have increased. We'll look at that as well. There are very few peers in the category, specific category that Bajaj Pulsar is in. There's Atul Auto and scooters, especially in the three-wheeler and two-wheeler business. There are a few other companies, but they're also into four-wheeler manufacturing. So, uh, even then, Bajaj Auto is actually leading the market. Hero MotoCorp also makes two-wheelers in India, but if you really look at Hero MotoCorp, I think the market cap is less than Bajaj Auto. Let's quickly go to Hero MotoCorp and look at, yeah, at the Hero MotoCorp is 59,482.35 crores, while Bajaj Auto is, I don't know how many, 122,757. That is 122,000, 122,757 crores, much bigger than Hero MotoCorp in the two-wheeler business. Let's quickly go to profit and loss. The company has, I mean, Screener says that the last couple of years the sales has been down, and they're right. But if you look at the pattern has been consistently increasing, except for March 2021, where the sales has fallen a little bit. But can you really blame them? I mean, coronavirus, pandemic, and what have you. And even if you don't look at the coronavirus pandemic, overall, I think the automobile business has not been doing exceptionally well as far as net sales is concerned. All automobile businesses have seen a sort of slump. And there are a number of reasons. One is the petroleum prices are increasing like anything. On top of that, the company infrastructure, the country infrastructure, roads, flyovers, etc., has not been growing at the rate at which the number of vehicles have been entering the business. So essentially, there isn't enough infrastructure to be able to support the sales of more and more two-wheelers in the country today. But still, I don't see that to be a very big slump. I mean, I think it's done pretty decent, if you may put it. Um, the net profit has also grown over a period of time, except a slight downside on in March 2021 this year. And again, I would blame COVID-19 for this particular dump as well. But that sales and profit, while it's a very, very important criteria, especially in the automobile industry, and so I would make sure that I don't have a large stake in Bajaj Auto. But if you compare Bajaj Auto with all the other automobile industry companies, I would still put it at quite a high level. Let's go and take a look at the balance sheet, and this is important because this is something that tells me about how the management is doing as far as running the business is concerned, balance sheet and cash flows and other ratios. So the most important factor in balance sheets is liabilities. Now, liabilities have increased over a period of time, and it's been a healthy growth. But if you look at the assets have increased at a much faster rate. The liabilities in March 2010 was 2,865, and the assets were 6,942, which is a little over three times the liabilities. But if you look at the liabilities now, it's just 6,207, which means it's three times what it was in March 2010. But the assets are 33,602, which is many multiples of the assets that were there in March 2010, which means the difference between the asset and liabilities has increased. Liabilities has grown at a healthy rate, asset has grown at a tremendous rate, which is excellent for any company and says good things about the management. The cash flows have also been seen a healthy growth. Um, the net cash flows have grown from negative to a strong positive. Um, the return on capital has reduced, which is not a very good sign. But if you look at the return of capital, I think anything above 20-25% is decent. I wouldn't say it's ideally the pattern should be consistently growing, but as the top line of a company grows, the return on capital sort of has to reduce over a period of time. So, but still, they have maintained a healthy return on capital, which is at 30-35%. March 2021 has seen a little bit of a downside. So, I wouldn't be very aggressive in my investments on Bajaj Auto at this point in time. But overall, the company is doing well, and I see a bright future. Inventory turnover has also, been maintained at a decent and healthy level. Now, what I like about Bajaj Auto and why I have chosen, one of the very important reasons why I've chosen this to be a platinum company, as a part of my platinum list, is the promoter holding. Now, the promoters have actually increased their holding in the company from 49.3% in June 2018 to 53.7% in March 2021, which basically tells me that the company, the promoters see a bright future in the company and they want to increase their stake in the company. Having said that, the FII's stake has reduced and the DII stake has increased. So foreign institutional investors are sort of reducing their stake in the company. Um, the good thing is that the public or the retail investors' stake has also reduced over a period of time. What that says is when the promoters are buying shares off the market, either it's going to come from retail investors or domestic institutional investors or financial or foreign institutional investors. So if the promoter stake has increased, something has to reduce, and so the foreign institutional investors and public stake has reduced in the company. Now, I would have preferred it if the stake would have come from domestic institutional investors, but it really doesn't matter whether it's DIIs or FIIs or public. The point is that the promoters have increased their share, which tells me that they have faith in the company. And that basically increases my faith in the company. Now, if you look at the corporate actions, they have always maintained a healthy dividend payout since 2008. Every single year, they've given a dividend payout. In fact, they've given a dividend payouts twice or thrice a year, every once in a while. There has been a bonus given out in 2010, and it's 2021 now, which is about 11 years over, or almost 11 years. There's a good chance that this company may declare another bonus anytime in the next couple of years because it's been a number of years now. And the price of the stock has run up quite a bit. So, so that's a good thing, which brings us to the next very important point, which is technicals. We'll take a look at the charts and we'll see how the stock price has done over the years. So here's the monthly chart of Bajaj Auto. And as you can see, since 2008, the company has done nothing but go up. There have been a very few slumps around here or probably somewhere around here. And this was the 2020 COVID crisis sort of correction. But it has quickly recovered in the next couple of months itself. And then it has seen a all-time high now, right? Let's quickly take a look at how a long-term investor would get into Bajaj Auto and at what price they would invest in. I'm looking at the weekly chart here. I don't really see a lot of demand zones here. Probably I see one demand zone here, which is 3423, which is very far away from the current price at this point in time. There is also a small demand zone in this. This is a weekly demand zone around here, but I'm not entirely sure I would want to get in. Let's take a look at the daily chart. I always take a look at two time frames and then decide what should be the right price for me to get in. Right, so this is the weekly demand zone that we had created in the weekly chart. I see there is one beautiful basing candle that is being created right here, and there's another one right here. Right, the stock price has run up quite a bit, and the RSI is showing me 69.75 at this point. which is actually quite high. This is not really a very good time to buy. I would actually wait for the stock to come down a little bit, correct a little bit. If it corrects here, comes to here and 3924, and if I see that uh, the Bollinger Band at that point in time is closer to here, as in if the price is touching the Bollinger Band, and if I see that the RSI is a little bit low, somewhere around 35 or even 40 for that matter, then I don't mind getting in, because this is a stock that has been rallying for a really long time. So there's a chance it may not come down all the way till 3562. However, let's say that if it's not close to the Bollinger Bands and the RSIs are showing very expensive, then I would wait for it to come down to 3624. Sometimes we get a good price to buy, we do. Go ahead and take the trade. If we don't get a very good price to buy, no matter how good the stock is, we don't buy. We wait for it to correct and come to the level where it is not very expensive. Let's take a look at how a swing trader would invest into it. Now, I'm not providing a supply zone here because a long-term investor is going to wait for a couple of years, 5 years or 10 years before they actually sell the stock. Secondly, this is a stock that is actually doing an all-time high at this point in time. Well, almost an all-time high if you look at it, which means that I don't really have a supply zone. I see this stock to be extremely promising and will go up quite a bit. So no supply zones here. I would buy and hold for next 5-10 years if I'm a long-term investor. Having said that, if I'm a swing trader, then I would look at the daily chart. I would definitely not wait for too long before I actually get in. I don't mind having a demand zone over here, and then I will go into the 60-minute chart and take a look at it um, before I actually decide. Because a swing trader wants to get his money out as quickly as possible and then get into another trade quickly. So, um, yes, I see this demand zone has already been, tested a couple of times. So what I'll do is I'll use this demand zone in the 60-minute chart. I would ignore this particular one which we created on the daily chart. Um, yeah, this one looks okay. So 4096 is a decent price for a swing trader to get in. Actually, I see a very good demand zone over here as well, from where the stock has run up quite a bit and then now it's coming down. But the RSI is not very low. It's at 56, somewhere in the middle. All right, so not this demand zone. Let's see. I would wait for it to come down a little bit to probably 4096 or 4100 levels. And at that time, if the RSI is low and the Bollinger Band is being breached, then I would take the trade. The supply zone would be anywhere from 7.5 to 10% profit. So I don't really have a supply zone here. I could treat this as a supply zone, but I don't know if I'm going to get 7.5 to 10% profit on this. I would expect 7.5 to 10% profit if I'm waiting for a couple of weeks, week and a half. Um, um, let's take a look at an intraday trader. So 15-minute chart first, and I should assume that it should be very close to a demand zone at this point in time. Yes. So this is the demand zone that I would use as an intraday trader. The RSI on the 15-minute chart is at again at 50 or so percent, which is not very good. But since we're looking at the 15-minute chart, I think the the uh, the RSI should come down quite a bit once it hits our entry level, which is 4,214. If I get this, then let's take a look at a decent supply zone from where we can get out. So I would say this one. Yes, so this is a pretty decent supply zone. If the stock runs down, just a second, yeah. If the stock runs down, then I would, stop loss around here. And if it goes up, then I would, go to 4286. Let's see what's the rewards to risk ratio that I'm getting. I'm getting about 256. Let's pull it down just a wee bit to make it a 1:3. Well, actually 1:2.5 is also not a very bad ratio when you're talking about intraday. It's pretty decent. It would have breached the Bollinger Band. The RSI would be around 40 or so by the time it touches 4,211.35. I should enter, and then I think the price should turn and go all the way till 4,287, which would be my target. Now, while I give you all this advice related to what should be the price to enter and exit and so on, this is a point in time advice. So I'm looking at it at this point in time, and it probably is a pretty decent advice at this point in time. However, stick to your stop losses. Make sure that you're taking the trade right now. And if some amount of time, even a few days have passed after I've given you this advice, then this advice is no longer valid. The important point is you understand how I am setting my entry, stop loss, and targets, and learn to set your own entries, stop losses, and targets yourself. Understand what a basing candle is. I've got a few other videos that show the basing candles. I'll share the link in the description, and become independent on how to set up the entries, the stop losses, and the targets. The reason I'm doing these specific examples is practice. We take a look at the stock, we take a look at the fundamentals, we do the technicals, we set the entries and the stop losses and targets, and you keep looking at it again and again and again. And over a period of time, you get better at it. The trick to becoming better at anything is actually quite simple. Practice, practice, and more practice. I hope you have enjoyed the content that I've presented today, and I'm always looking for feedback. So if you disagree, do let me know. If you would like me to cover an idea, do let me know. And I'm always looking to learn new things. And other than that, I wish us all the best, and I hope we make a ton of money off the stock markets. Have fun.